Okay, so let's just jump right in. Have you ever looked at a fraction and a decimal and felt like they're speaking two totally different languages? Well, you know what? In a way, they are. But here's the cool part. They're both used to talk about the exact same values. So today, we're going to become fluent translators between the two. Now, the source material for this kicks off with this quote, which might seem a little random at first, right? But it's actually a really clever metaphor for measurement. See, just like we measure things out in the real world, we use numbers to measure and compare values. And being able to do that, well, that's a real superpower. And this right here, this illustrates the whole point perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the fraction, 3/4. On the right, the decimal, 0.75. They look completely different, don't they? But they mean the exact same thing. Our whole job is to figure out how to translate one into the other, just seamlessly. All right, so let's start with our very first rule of translation. We're going to tackle turning a fraction into its decimal buddy. And trust me, it's probably way more straightforward than you think. Here it is, the secret key. It all comes down to division. You know that little line in the middle of a fraction? It's not just for decoration. It literally just means divide by. So to translate from fraction to decimal, you just do what it says. Divide the top number by the bottom number. Simple as that. Let's circle back to our first example, 3/4. So, following our rule, we just set it up as a division problem. 3 divided by 4. Now, whether you punch that into a calculator or work it out longhand, you get this, 0.75. And just like that, translation complete. You've officially turned the fraction 3/4 into its decimal form. See? Not so bad, right? Okay, so we've got that direction down. Now let's learn how to go back the other way. It's time for our second rule of translation, turning a decimal into a fraction. This rule is all about place value. It's actually pretty intuitive. You basically just write down the decimal exactly as you would say it out loud. If there's one number after the decimal point, you put it over 10. If there are two numbers, you put it over 100. You get the idea. But, and this is super important, the final step is to simplify. You always want to simplify. Let's give it a shot with 0.6. Okay, so there's one digit after the decimal, right? The 6. That means we write it as 6 over 10. But hold on, we're not done yet. We have to simplify. So what's the biggest number that goes into both 6 and 10? It's 2. So we divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. And we land on our final, fully translated and perfectly simplified answer, 3/5. So yeah, 0.6 is the same as 6/10, but the best and simplest way to write it is 3/5. All right, you've got the two big rules down. I think it's time for a quick fluency test. Let's see how you do translating on your own. You ready? Okay, first challenge. What is 4/5 as a decimal? Just remember that first rule. Top number divided by the bottom number. So that's 4 divided by 5. I'll give you a second. And there it is, 0.8. If you got that, you're definitely getting the hang of this. Awesome. Okay, let's flip it around. How would you write 0.25 as a fraction? Think about that place value. There are two digits after the decimal. And whatever you do, don't forget to simplify. That's 1/4. You would have started with 25 over 100, and when you boil that down, you get the nice, clean answer of 1/4. Well done. Okay, last one for the test, and this one's a little bit of a curveball. What happens when you try to translate 2/3 into a decimal? Go ahead, try dividing 2 by 3. You'll see something interesting happen. Yeah, you get it repeating decimal. It's 0.6666, and it just goes on forever. So what do? We round it. That little squiggly equal sign there means approximately equal to. So when we round it to two places, 2/3 is about 0.67. So why does any of this matter? What's the real power behind being a number translator? Believe me, it's about way more than just getting the right answer in math class. Let's just boil it all down to a simple cheat sheet. If you want to go from a fraction to a decimal, just remember that fraction bar means divide. Top divided by bottom. To go the other way, from decimal to fraction, just say it out loud. Put it over 10 or 100, and then simplify. That's really the whole game right there. And here's the so what. Is 7/8 bigger or smaller than 0.8? It's kind of hard to tell at a glance, right? But if you translate them into the same language, say by turning 7/8 into 0.875, well, the answer is suddenly crystal clear. This skill gives you real clarity and confidence with numbers anywhere you find them. So, you've learned the rules, you've passed the test, You are now officially a number translator. The only question left is where are you going to use this new fluency next? Maybe you're looking at a recipe, comparing discounts at a store, or even looking at data for work. The possibilities are everywhere.